On November 21, 2018, Evelyn Mae Boswell was born in Tennessee, a beautiful, bright baby girl born to two young parents, Megan Boswell and Ethan Perry. The two struck up a relationship as teenagers and began adjusting to the fact that they were now young parents. After high school, Ethan went on to join the military just a year prior to Evelyn being born. The relationship had run its course, and Megan ultimately stayed home with full custody of Evelyn and began to raise their daughter. On February 18, 2020, Evelyn Boswell was reported missing. As information quickly began pouring in, it was revealed that the little girl had not been seen by anyone aside from Megan since sometime in early December. Evelyn's mother, Megan, had been avoiding taking the child to see friends and family for nearly 2 months. Evelyn's grandfather, Tommy Boswell Sr., was becoming concerned and placed a call to begin an investigation in an effort to find his granddaughter.
Comment on that?
I don't know what happened, but I'm the one called DCS and got this started.
And why did you call DCS?
Because my granddaughter, she never did come back, and I just want to know what happened to her.
When was the last time you had seen her?
Thanksgiving, up to his house. We all had Thanksgiving dinner.
So you hadn't seen her since Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
I know some reports say that it was like early December, so yours was a lot longer than that.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving.
Had you been in communication with them at all? Like, I know you hadn't seen her, but what about
No,
talking?
I hadn't talked to her nothing. I stayed busy, and I talked to my ex-wife, and I told her, I said, if Evelyn don't come home, I said, I'm going to do something about it. And she said, you better not do that. You're going to regret this.
As the search for Evelyn began to get underway, Evelyn's mother, Megan, did a series of interviews where she began telling the public her side of the story. Initially, she claimed that the last time she had her daughter, Evelyn, that she left her with her own mother, Angela Boswell, and that Angela refused to return the child to her. She said she was afraid of Angela taking off if she reported the kidnapping to authorities. Megan also told reporters that when she did tell her mother about the Amber Alert, Angela had done as Megan feared and skipped town.
I just want her back. That's all I want.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just worried about, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her?
On February 21st, the sheriff's office held a press conference and an Amber Alert was issued. The public was given a description of the vehicle that Angela was known to be using. Although Angela was not named a suspect, police felt that she could have information that could lead to finding the missing girl. During this press conference, the sheriff also expressed to the public that Megan's story was continually changing and that she was potentially misleading authorities in finding her missing daughter.
Yeah, during our interviews, her stories aren't leading up to stuff that we went out and checked on, video surveillance, eyewitness testimonies. So a lot of her information hadn't been accurate.
As skepticism grew, people began wondering where Megan was during those 2 months since Evelyn was last seen. It was revealed that Megan had been dating a young man named Hunter Wood who owned a nearby chicken shack with his family. As people became suspicious of the new boyfriend who had a criminal past, Hunter decided to do an interview of his own. When he spoke to reporters, he claimed that the accusations were damaging his business and that he was receiving harassment at his restaurant. He told reporters that he had never seen Evelyn in his life and that as far as he was aware, Megan had taken the little girl to stay with her biological father, Ethan Perry.
I've never seen the baby in my life.
Hunter Wood says he briefly dated Evelyn's mother, Megan Boswell.
She applied for a job at my restaurant, Hunter T's Chicken Shack, and it wasn't like a relationship. It was an on and off going, type deal. It wasn't like an all-out, relationship.
He says he's known Megan Boswell for about 2 months and never saw baby Evelyn.
All I've seen is pictures of her. I have no relationship with that child whatsoever.
He says he's received threats over the internet, causing him to shut down his restaurant's Facebook page.
To my knowledge, the entire time that I've known Maggie, I've never seen the baby, of course, but as well as the baby has been with the father, back from military leave. And that is all that I've known about the child.
He wants the focus to be on finding the child and not on him and his business.
There's been a bunch of stuff said about, my restaurant, Hunter T's Chicken Shack, things negative towards, to try to, stir away the main key factor of us just trying to operate. And that is all that I've known about the child, never seen it, never seen her or anything of that matter.
Hunter went on to explain to reporters at ABC4 that while the little girl was with her father, she had fallen off of the bed and broken her arm. Since giving this interview, it's been discovered that Evelyn's father, Ethan Perry, was serving on active duty and had no idea that his daughter was missing or that she was unaccounted for. Meanwhile, authorities were searching for the gray BMW in connection to the Amber Alert. The car they were looking for was previously owned by Hunter Wood's mother and reported stolen. Police located the car in Trap Hill, North Carolina, with Megan's mother Angela as a passenger and her boyfriend William McLeod as the driver. Angela and her boyfriend William were arrested and taken to jail on theft charges. Still no sign of the baby. After the arrest, the whereabouts of Evelyn remained a mystery. Back in Sullivan County, Megan sat down with reporters again, this time in a nearby cemetery where a friend of Megan's had previously been laid to rest. Megan expressed that police had not been taking her lead seriously, and she stated that her reason for giving police false information was in part an attempt to protect her mother. She said she thought her mother Angela had been keeping the baby from her and would continue to hide Evelyn because she was often vindictive. Megan said that she knew her mother had taken Evelyn to Mendota and that someone in a silver camper had been keeping her child. Megan told reporters that she would go get Evelyn herself if police continued to ignore her.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Because I've told them, and they're not really, taking it seriously, and if they don't go tonight, I will go myself and go get her. Just that if they don't take it seriously, what I just said, I will go find her myself. They've told me before they'll arrest me for tampering with evidence, and I told them on my phone, I was like, I don't care if you arrest me for tampering with evidence. If you go up there, I'm going to tonight.
The location in question was followed up by officials and ultimately yielded no results in the efforts of locating the missing child. With police growing increasingly frustrated with Megan, officials began following other leads. Shortly after this interview, Megan met with authorities again where they continued to question her on the events leading up to Evelyn's disappearance. Before going in for questioning, Megan met with reporters outside of the local police station for another interview. She claimed that she requested a polygraph and was denied because of sheriff's office policies. She told reporters that she was now pregnant, and because of that, she was being denied a polygraph.
Well, I know that there's been rumors about, you being pregnant right now, and
I'm not getting into that.
I know, I hate to ask you that, but, I just want to give you the opportunity to, address anything that you feel that the public should or shouldn't know, or I know everybody's in your business.
I am pregnant, that's why they won't give me a polygraph. Due to policy, if you're pregnant, they cannot give you one.
Okay, that makes sense.
Following this interview, the sheriff's office issued a statement telling the public that they do not offer lie detector tests. Therefore, there is no policy for which Megan could have been denied. That night, it was announced that Megan had been arrested and was being charged by the sheriff's office with false reporting in relation to her claims of Evelyn's last known whereabouts. Court documents revealed that she initially told DCS that Evelyn was with her father, Ethan Perry, when the investigation began. As we know, investigators followed up on that and learned that Ethan was actively enlisted and was stationed at Fort Polk in Louisiana at that time. Megan's story then changed to the one that involved her mother Angela and the stolen BMW. After Megan's arrest, the sheriff's office reiterated to us in a press conference that Megan had been continually lying to them since the investigation began.
What it's been like?
Every time we talk to her, her story changes. I'm serious when I say that, every single time.
Sheriff, you said the last verified sighting was the 1st of December.
Did you receive the CBSA or anything like that?
She was never asked to meet us for any polygraph. We don't actually have a polygraph examiner. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation does the polygraphing. We never set up any type of interview for her. And the pregnant statements, I'll have to leave that to her. That's information she released to you. Of course, it being medical, there's HIPAA violations that we have to look into, and I can't release that information at this time.
When asked about the claims of Megan being pregnant, it was made clear by authorities that it would be a violation of privacy to give a specific answer to that request. Although we were given a vague statement, everyone was left to deduce that there is a high likelihood that Megan was, in fact, lying about her new pregnancy as well. With Megan, Angela, and William McLeod in custody, police began to follow new leads, one of which led them to the search of a pond in Trap Hill, North Carolina, relatively close to where the BMW was found and Angela and William were arrested. Beside this plot of land that the pond is located at, William McLeod's grandmother, Mary, lived and owned property. She sat down with reporters and gave them her account of events when she last seen her grandson William and Angela only hours before the two were taken into custody.
Is located right next to Mary McLeod's home. Her grandson dates the grandmother of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. She told me the two showed up at her home in Trap Hill asking for money to get out of North Carolina. But what caught her attention was that her grandson was wet, and the story he told her explaining why.
That he'd been at the motel, at Lowe's Motel in Wilkesboro, and there'd been a pipe burst. And he got his feet wet, and somebody stole his money, and he needed money to get back to Bristol.
The two never got out of North Carolina after being arrested less than a mile away in a stolen vehicle authorities believe may be connected to the case. The baby girl's mother, who is also now in custody, says her mother was the last person she saw with Evelyn in late December. Now, the missing girl's mother is accused of giving investigators a number of conflicting statements about her daughter's disappearance, along with saying she hadn't seen the 15-month-old since late December. We asked Mary McLeod if she thought her grandson could have any involvement in baby Evelyn's disappearance.
He's devious enough. His record from youth up, he's been devious enough to be involved in something.
As police continued to search the pond, news began to circulate of an interview that Evelyn's great-grandfather David Jones gave to reporters. He explained that his daughter Angela Boswell had been living with him in February, and during that time Megan was coming over every day spending time with her mother. He said that he witnessed Hunter Wood gifting the BMW to his daughter Angela, and said that the claims of it being stolen were false and untrue. He further explained that never in that space of time when Megan was visiting was Evelyn with her. Although he had no idea where his missing great-granddaughter was, he felt that whatever happened to Evelyn, his granddaughter Megan would be at the bottom of it.
Hunter gave that car to my daughter.
But, yeah.
The 2 weeks that my daughter stayed here, Megan was here every day with Hunter. They were hanging with my daughter every day for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why would you hang with somebody that took your child?
So you're saying earlier this month, when the car exchange happened, Angela was living with you all.
Yep.
For about 2 weeks.
Yep.
And during that 2 week period, you're saying that Megan and her boyfriend Hunter came over here about every day during those 2 weeks.
Sometimes twice a day.
And so what you're saying is, if Angela had taken Evelyn, why would she hang out with her?
Hanging with her every day. Does that make sense to you?
You know, I hear your question. And so you're saying Hunter, the boyfriend of Megan,
Right.
you saw him give the car to...
Exactly. I mean, it's not hearsay.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, so you saw him give the car to Angela, like give her the keys.
The keys, and told her they would go get the title in a couple of days. Nothing like this has ever happened in our family before.
Yeah.
And I just think that when they do find out the truth, Megan will be at the bottom of it. Whatever's happened to that child, that's where the source is.
After hours and hours of efforts from crews involved, the search of the pond in Trap Hill, North Carolina deemed inconclusive. Not long after the search was through, police began following up on a tip received that led them to a trailer park owned by Megan's brother Tommy Boswell, where Megan was previously living. On February 28th, teams showed up and they began searching under the trailer for evidence. News crews were present to watch as investigators pulled something out from under the trailer and placed in evidence bags. The search warrants for this property have been sealed, and the mystery of what investigators took from under the trailer currently remain unknown. Shortly after Megan was arrested, Evelyn's great-grandfather, David Jones, appeared at the county jail to bail out his own daughter, Angela Boswell.
Angela, when was the last time you seen Evelyn? Where's Evelyn? Do you know where Evelyn is, Angela? When was the last time you saw her?
Get your hands off of me and back up. Right now.
Where's Evelyn?
Get your hands off of me.
Do you know where she is? Is she alive?
When was the last time you talked to Megan?
Have you been able to speak to Megan at all? Do you know where your granddaughter is?
Do you know where Evelyn is?
Authorities began to express their frustration at not only being misled by the girl's mother Megan, but by a family who so far seemed more aggravated by the investigation rather than wanting to be helpful.
We just want, to find Evelyn, and that's our main concern, top priority. I mean, And it seems like they've gotten aggravated at us for checking areas or asking questions, and that doesn't make much sense to me.
With Angela now bailed out and wearing an ankle monitor, Megan was left to remain in the jail on her own. On Monday, March 2nd, Megan appeared in court before a judge for her bond hearing, where the judge ultimately denied her request to lower the amount. He issued her a new date of May 8th to appear in criminal court to address her charges of false reporting to authorities. 2 days later, on March 4th, both William and Angela had their hearings as well. They are both due back in court on March 24th to address their theft charges in relation to the BMW involved in the Amber Alert. Although William's request to lower his bond was denied, shortly after his appearance, Angela, and what appeared to be her father David Jones again, showed up with money for bond and bailed William out of jail as well.
When was the last time you saw Evelyn?
Go and get that camera out my face, man.
Do you know where Evelyn is? Do you have anything to say to the public? Anything you'd like us to share?
She just loves you.
On March 6, 2020, police arrived at a property owned by a family member of Megan's, believed to be her father Tommy. Megan's father Tommy Boswell Sr. and his son own a series of properties where many other family members, including Megan and Megan's grandmother, were known to rent property and often visit. A search was underway in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road, and sadly, the remains of Evelyn were discovered, ending the 17-day investigation spanning across 3 states. The cause of the toddler's death and the details that led up to sweet little Evelyn no longer being alive are currently under investigation.
This evening, we received information that led TBI agents and Sullivan County detectives to a property belonging to a family member of Evelyn's mother in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road in Blumpville. During the search, investigators discovered human remains believed to be those of a 15-month-old girl. The remains will be sent for an autopsy and a positive identification.
Evelyn was seemingly born into a family with little stability, poor examples of behavior, rife with criminal history, drugs, violence, and her mother's web of lies. The sweet little innocent soul was brought into chaos and became a victim of circumstances far beyond her control. Sadly, Evelyn does not get to see her second birthday. She had hardly yet learned to walk. She won't get to grow up and learn to drive a car, no first dates, or even living long enough to pursue talents along with so many of the simplest pleasures in life. Following the discovery of the toddler, a broken community rallied around this little girl to show support and love for her life that was lost all too soon. A steady stream of people arrived to offer gifts left in remembrance, recognition, and a hunger for justice for Evelyn. Regardless of the means by which Evelyn lost her life, just the fact that she was missing for months without being reported is almost beyond imagination or comprehension. Children don't have a say in what happens to them or around them, and too often they're the ones to pay the ultimate price. With the neighborhood and family in mourning and hearts across the world broken for the loss of someone so innocent, it's important to note all of the difficulties faced by investigators that worked so hard towards revealing the truth and allowing Evelyn's story to unfold. In the first days of this case, the sheriff himself started a reward fund and personally donated his own money in an effort to bring Evelyn home. Not only were authorities starting an investigation 68 days after Evelyn had last been seen, dealing with a troubled family, they were also facing difficulties in dealing with interference from a rabid social media following and having to follow up on numerous false tips, wasting precious time and resources. They now stand up to the task of bringing out the truth and seeing that justice is served. May sweet little Evelyn rest in peace and remind us to hold our loved ones a little closer. May she also help us to respect the thin line that separates us all from life and death. Evelyn may now be gone, but she shall never be forgotten.